Hey everyone, Catherine Ewing here, Chief Inspirational Officer from Sacred Heart Alchemy. I started this a few minutes ago and I wasn't sure I was recording because I'm doing it on my phone, which is different than I usually do. And so if you were listening and all of a sudden I disappeared, I apologize for that. So I'll try to do a quick catch up. Anyway, I had a few minutes. I'm between clients. And I wanted to sort of pick up on this topic that I started talking about last week because it's been so prevalent in our news and, social media, every place we look, right? And that is this proliferation, this incredible number of women and men who are coming forward around this issue of having been sexually molested or abused or just experience sexual misconduct or inappropriate behavior by those who had some position of power over them. And I know in my line of work, because I work a lot with trauma, and I've been working in the area of sexual abuse and violence for so many years, that I just naturally sort of attract to me many clients who have that in their history. And it's not even so much that they come to me for that as the presenting problem, if you will. Often there's something else going on or not going on in their lives that gets them either into therapy or coaching, because I work with this in both arenas. So maybe they're just feeling really highly anxious in their lives, and they have not been able to address the anxiety in a way that relieves it without maybe being on medication, and maybe that's not something that they want to do anymore. Or perhaps there's an area in their life, maybe even in their own thought process, in the way that they treat themselves, in the way that they are in relationship with intimate partners or friends or colleagues or superiors, where they know that there's something that's just off, right? Maybe they get triggered easily, or maybe they shut down, or they all of a sudden they lose their competent self and they feel much younger and sort of out of control than they normally do. And they really don't know why. They just sort of react without knowing what it is really that caused the reaction, or at least knowing that the reaction feels out of proportion, if you will, maybe to the incident at hand, to the thing someone said, or the fact that somebody didn't get back to you, or, whatever it might happen to be. And this comes up, particularly, not exclusively, but particularly at this time of year, right? Between the holidays, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, often because we're, reconnecting with family, we're going back into family situations, traditional ways of doing things, the family dynamics, even though we're all grown up now, have not shifted that much. Maybe there's, drugs or alcohol or something else involved that fuels things even more. And so this can be a very difficult time of year. And so between everything coming up in the media these days and the time of year that it is, that puts us maybe back in touch with things from our past that have been challenging, I just wanted to bring this out and talk about it for a few minutes. I've been amazed. So I've been in, doing psychotherapy for 25 years and coaching for about 10, that so many of the clients who come to me in both venues really have said things like, I've been in and out of therapy, since I was a teenager, or half my adult life, or 20 years, or whatever. And most of them, although, and I don't want to discredit traditional psychotherapy, but most of them, although therapy may have been helpful for some point in time, they don't report feeling a level of relief from their symptoms or really deep healing, which they want, and I believe that's what they want, right? There's just something that still doesn't feel right, and they keep kind of trying to deal with the same issues over and over again, and they might go away for a while, and then there's a new stressor in their life, or something comes up and the symptoms come back, and they just seem to be on this roller coaster, right, of really not being in a place in their life where they really feel good, they feel joyful and happy most of the time, their mood is in a good place, their relationships are in a good place, and they seem to be, so maybe resilient is a word, it's just popped into my mind, so I'm going to use it. They don't have a sense of real resiliency, like they can really get knocked off their feet when things, start to get stressful or start to feel maybe a little bit overwhelming. And so if you're feeling any of this, there's a few things that I want to make sure and say, because I've heard these words from my clients so many times. So the first thing is, you're not crazy, right? You really are not crazy, even though you may have been struggling with some sort of symptoms or some issues for a good portion of your life. That doesn't make you crazy. What it makes you is in reaction to some things that have happened that you have not completely healed yet. And so again, in times like this, when issues of abuse and power over and secrecy, right, and threatening, when those things are coming back into the public eye, it will trigger anything that's in your own energy system that holds a similar vibration. So if in your family system or in your community or in your church or in your line of work or in your business, you have experienced some kind of inappropriate behavior, abuse, and even things like loss or grief that have sort of been, pushed down, pushed away, because the ego mind is always going to want to protect you from those memories, especially if those things happened when you were young, because it would have been so overwhelming for your limbic system, right, for the emotional system of your body to handle, that the brain, in doing its job, literally sort of segments that out and, puts it in some dark corner of your subconscious so that you can continue on with your life without being totally derailed or, overwhelmed by these emotions, right? But what happens is, and, if you're a student of the law of attraction or of science, you know that energy never disappears, right? So if you're holding energy in your mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual body, which you do, we all do, that energy is stuck there if you haven't been able to process it and release it. So when something happens in your life or in the world that has a similar vibrational frequency as the things that you experienced, it will trigger those things. And it may be very subtle. You might not even know what's happening, but you may be experiencing irritability or short-tempered, or perhaps you get some kind of physical distress. Your stomach hurts, or you feel a tightness around your chest, or maybe all of a sudden you find yourself eating more than usual or drinking more than usual. You may not be making the connection, right? You may not be putting the dots together where this information out in the world is triggering something inside of you and therefore bringing out a certain emotion or thought process or behavior. But let me tell you, it's all connected. So back to the you're not crazy. You're not crazy. You're simply reacting to events from your past that have not been processed or completely healed and are still alive and being triggered in your energy body, right? So the first thing is you're not crazy. The second thing is you're not your story. right? We all grow up, again, in families, in neighborhoods, in religious institutions, in the educational system, and there are so many stories. You grow up with ideas about men and women, different races, different cultures, girls and boys, right? It's all part of the story, and then we all have our own unique story. But the truth is, that story, no matter how old it is, no matter how entrenched it is, really has nothing to do with the truth of who you are. Yes, you were born into a certain family system, and yes, you had certain events or experiences in your life, but those really are not the truth of you. The truth of you is that you are a spark of creation, right? You are literally a soul who came into this life experience in order to grow and master certain things. And the truth of you is that you are a pure, essential being of light and love. Anything that has happened to you in this lifetime, it's almost like a layer, a layer of a cloak or some barrier between the truth of who you are that you hold deep inside of you and all these layers of experience that are kind of covering up that light, right? And it isn't until we do the deep healing and peel away the layers, take off the cloaks. This actually came to me in meditation this morning, and really let the light of your pure essence shine, that the truth of who you are is really exposed and expressed in the world. I call that sort of your Christ being, right? You're expressing the Christ of yourself. So you're not crazy. You're not your story. You're not broken beyond repair. It's really so sad when clients come to me and in some way, they don't always say I'm broken or I feel broken, but that language, that feeling can come through in lots of different language, right? So whether it's I'm not deserving, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, that's not meant for me, that's for other people, I'm here to suffer, my life is a struggle, it's always going to be a struggle. There's some sense that there's something intrinsically wrong or broken with them or in them. And again, I'm going to repeat what I said before. That idea that you are broken is simply an idea. It's, again, a part of your identity, that you have taken on because of your experiences, because of the feelings associated with those experiences, because of the belief systems of lack or limitation or not good enough that came along with that. And if you have tried many different things, if you've been in and out of therapy, if you've tried alternative healing modalities, speaking for myself, I've had more healings and attunements and activations and DNA awakenings and, that you can, and readings and all kinds of wonderful things, energy healing, all wonderful. But if you keep searching and using those modalities as a way to fix yourself because you think you're broken and you haven't experienced the sense of feeling better or being made whole again, it tends to really reinforce that idea that, see, it's just never going to work for me. I'm beyond repair. I'm beyond hope. It's just not in the cards for me. And again, I'm here to tell you that the truth of you is that you have everything inside of you that you already need. I know that sounds so cliche, and I'm almost saying, Catherine, why are you even saying this? But the truth is that you are everything you need. And the more you look outside of yourself for healing or to be fixed or to be made better, it just reinforces this idea that you're broken and you need to be fixed. So, again, you're not broken beyond repair. You are a light and a spiritual being, and when you can really connect with and do the healing of the wounds that you have been subjected to, whether it's, something really major that's happened in your life, or just the wounding of life, right? Of moving through life, then you will experience the healing and the wholeness of yourself and recognize that you're not broken beyond repair. So all of that being said, it's probably time to wrap this up. I don't have a timer here, so I have no idea how long I've been talking. But I just want to let you know that even if you've been at this for a really long time, and even if there's a part of you that may be feeling like this is never going to change, right? If I haven't figured this out yet, I'm not going to figure it out. I'm just going to have to go through life doing the best I can, sort of feeling numbed out or anxious or not quite good enough, or perhaps this subtle feeling of shame or guilt that you carry through the world. I want to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. And I can say this from a pure heart, right? No hype, just a pure heart, because I've been at this for a very long time, and I've worked with enough people to know that when you are held in a sacred space, in a container, if you will, where you can be seen and heard and feel acknowledged and loved, everything that is within you, everything that's unhealed in you, can be healed. So that's the message that I want to leave with you today. You're not crazy, you're not beyond repair, and you are not your story, right? You're a sacred, beautiful being who came to this earth plane in order to grow. And it is absolutely available to you to heal the energetic and emotional residue and experiences of this life, and to step into a place of more joy, of being in a place of gratitude and appreciation and abundance for your life and for all of life, right? So thank you for your time. If you want to know more, you're certainly welcome to go to my website, which is www.sacredheartalchemy.com. And if you want to get my newsletter, you can. And just for signing up, you'll get a couple of free meditations. And there's also an opportunity there if you want to take it a step further. If you click on the Let's Connect button to schedule a 15-minute consultation for me, that's, it's complimentary. And if you would love to have a conversation, I would love to speak with you, but certainly there's no obligation. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. All right, bye-bye.